explanation shortly. So I'm back. This is a typical example of the settings you shall be syncing. And I would explain various in details the various things you would need to know about the settings. First of all, we're going to be using 15 margin calls, and relatively, um, from the margin calls we're using, give or take, we are looking at the market, falling up to 25%. Meaning, even if the market falls by 25%, we should still be able to trade effectively using this strategy. And this is what I'll be explaining in a moment, how everything works and the trade psychology that is being applied here. So back to the explanation. Basically, to use this strategy for a single coin, if you want to trade a single coin with $10 as your initial buy amount, you'll be needing about $220 actually to use this strategy. And I'll explain why. As many of us know, the market is both bullish and bearish. Often, the mistakes many of us make in trade is once the market is bullish, we forget that it can turn bearish, and the market does not give warning. For example, today is the 9th of September. Many of us know what happened, between 6th to 8th. That's between 2 days back and 3 days back, when many of the coins dipped all of a sudden by 20%. Some went as far as 22 or 23% dip. Like, very crazy day, right? So many people who did futures, those who were trading futures, were liquidated. Close to $406 million, was lost as a result of what liquidation. That's how volatile the crypto market is. So when the market is bullish, we don't need to forget the fact that it can also turn bearish. In fact, that is why we are using a quantitative bot like Royal Q. Okay. So what this simply means is we need to put everything into what perspective. That is why in this strategy, let me quickly explain it for you. My first five margin calls, you can see it's just left at 1%. That is because even in a bullish market, it is possible for the market to dip by 5%. It is very regular. So a coin can be doing well, in the next or last 24 hours, it must have dipped by 3%, 2%, 4, 5%. It's not abnormal in the bullish market. So that is why you see us, our first five margin calls is 111, meaning if the price falls by 1%, if it falls by another 1%, you want to buy. If it falls by another 1%, you want to buy. If it falls by another 1%, you want to buy. And if it falls by another 1%, which is 5%. So these first five margin calls are kind of triggered to suit into any bullish market. And that is why in the number of times you want to buy, you can see us using 2-1, 2-1-2, 2-1-2. So you can see it here. So if it falls by 1%, you want to buy double, like $20, double of your first buy amount. If it falls again, you want to buy one. If it falls by this third point, you want to buy double, and your fifth point, you want to buy double. Now, if eventually the market continues to dip, down by another percent, but mind you, at this first five dips, from your number one to five, you are basically using about 36 to 37% of your capital. So if you're having $220, for example, you'll be using basically about $80 for this first five. Now, this is where many people make the mistake. So let's imagine it's a bullish market. Your first five margin calls are the only ones selling for you. Most times you start asking yourself, only $80 been utilized thus far. The remaining $140. Now let me just sink another coin now. You understand? It's, yeah, you might make more money sinking another coin, but whenever you think bullish, also think bearish. That's where the professional traders, they make the cash from. So that is why usually when you're trading, if for those of us who have learned about proper risk management, you should know that at least put in like 50% of your capital to work, so that if there is an eventuality like that dip, for example, those who had extra money were the ones who were happy at that dip of yesterday or day before yesterday, where they were able to buy more, and now they're making the money because all of a sudden this morning so many coins have moved by 24%, by 15%, and by 18%. So they're the ones who actually enjoy that dip. But for you who is using 100% to enter the market once, you'll be at the losing end. So do not fall into that temptation. So let's say you're sinking a coin, and maybe for over a week, it has not gone below your fifth margin call. So maybe between your first and your third, or your fourth and fifth are the ones who are trading. Don't be tempted to say, well, the market is good now, so let me now use the remaining $140 to sink two other coins. Always remember that the market will not give you warning before it dips. Okay? So remember, crypto trading is not for quick cash. You can make quick cash from it, but if you trade crypto mindset with the get rich quick scheme, you will discover you will lose more than you eventually gain. So always put that at the back of your mind. Then continuing the strategy from our sixth call, can now see we are doing more of a step. So we are now saying if it falls by 1.2%, if it falls again by another 1.3% lower, falls lower by 1.2, 1.3, 1.5, 2, and you can see down to the 15th margin call, you can see that eventually we are preparing this strategy so that even in the case of eventuality, like the last 3 days happens again where markets are falling by 20%, we are still buying bit by bit and we are still able to trade even at the dip. Even as the market was deep, I still made cash trading. You understand? That's the beautiful thing with the quantitative bots and the use of dollar cost average. While on the other side, you can see us at every dip, we're increasing the parameter 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, and all that. So for those who have larger amounts to trade, you can still apply the same strategy. The only difference right now is rather than using $10 as your initial startup, you can use 100 depending on the amount you're trading. You can use 50, 20, 30. Well, first of all, know if you're using $10 and you really want to use this strategy the way it has been programmed, then what you simply do is have at least two $20. If you want to use $20 as your first buy amount, have at least 440. If you want to use $30, have at least 660. To trade one single coin using this strategy. So someone might ask, what if I don't have up to 220? I'm having 150, 180. Can I still sync? Well, yeah, you can sync, but the only difference now is I'm explaining the strategy for you. So if you're having 150, meaning you might be able to buy up to the 10th or 12th margin call, depending. So if the market falls below maybe 15% or 18%, yeah, you might not be able to buy further dips. You understand? And even if you're trading with the $220, this particular strategy is created to absorb whatever the market condition is to the 25th% decrease. So let's say the market dips by 40%. Okay, also put that at the back of your mind. Yeah. But from what we're looking at right now, that's why it's a strategy, and I said it's subject to change. We're studying the market. The market conditions right now, but we do not foresee that in the nearest future. But that does not mean it can't happen later. And that is why what every copy trade, what happens, we update our strategy and we share the information. So once you're syncing to Power Team, whenever we make an update, definitely you need to be affected, and you can always get to refresh your sync and all that. So always be with us as we help you make cash. So once again, if you're new to the channel, kindly hit the subscribe button. So whenever I make a video, you'll be one of the first people to get the notifications of that. Please do not forget to also turn on the notification bell.